Welcome back, guys. So now we've gotten to the part where we want to design our comic book. So what do we need? We need Canva, of course, and we need Gemini, of course. We need our documents. We need our both documents, which is the main comic book. So I'm going to download that. Let me download it in PDF. Yes, the main comic book one. And we need the character style sheet, which is the second, of course. So we need the character style sheet. So let me have those two downloaded. Then we need flow to generate our character, each character. So we have a preset already. We could use any of the presets. Of course, we're going to use landscape. And back to this. So now here in Canva, we want to look for a template. So we're going to come to template and we're going to say comic strip. What we are looking for is a comic. Yes, we are looking for a comic strip, of course. So comic strip is what we are looking for. So let's look for a comic strip and we can now start creating, or we can take a preset of a comic strip so to use. So we have six layouts here. All we have to do is to design our layouts first. Once we have our layouts designed, then we are good to go. So here is a comic strip. So let's see what we have right now. So let's see. So let's keep going. We need 4 layouts. So here we have 3. Okay. So here we have 3. Here we have 4. And we have our bubbles. So I think something like this would work, by the way. But let's keep going so that we can find something that would look okay. I think something like this should work, so I would actually use this. So let me use something like this, which is the comic, and I'm going to have customized templates. So to design our comic strip, we need a layout. So we are talking about the comic strip layout right now. So here is it, and the first comic strip will be right here. So here we have the blank 4 panel comic strip. We have our resources, which is very important. So here we have this. So we can say against the word issue 1. So let's rename it. So we're going to say against the word issue 1. Yes, which is perfect. So right now we're going to have something like this. So let's have our comic strip or title. So this now, the bleed color could be any color. Of course, you can make the bleed any color. So I'm going to have this kind of color right now. And here we have the main characters being inputted here. So what I want to do now, caption will be here, text will be here. So let's create our first character. So right now, I want to use Gemini right now to create our first scene. So let's say we have Gemini and I want to create a gem. So what I will do now is to create a new gem for this. So I'm going to create a new gem, and right here is gem. I'm going to say create new gem, and I'm going to create a new gem. I'm going to name the gem my story, of course. So here is the gem. I'm going to give it the name, okay, against the word comic book. Perfect. And description does not really matter. Your instructions should be take instructions from the comic comic strip layout, and take styles from the character sheet. So let's have that. And right now we have default 2. So you could have default 2 right here, which has different, you could use create image. That could be your default 2, but we don't need to have a default 2 right now. Let's just leave that. So now we want to make the references, which would be these 2 document I downloaded, which is the main comic book layout and the character style sheet. So let's have that as our files. So I'm going to have those 2 files inputted, which is this. Okay, so the 2 files will be inputted right now, and that will be our knowledge. So knowledge is where you get information from, and that's what we're going to use for this. So we have this so that we can have all these, and we have to just always come here to come and do whatever I want to do. So I want to use Pro Future right here. Of course, is Pro I would use, and now I could preview what we have right now. So I could save this gem right away. I just want to see if it works. I've not tried it before. So I'm going to start a new chat under this gem. So whenever I want to come do anything about against the word comic book, I come to the gem section of Gemini. So right here, we have this. So I want to work on issue 1. So I'm going to copy issue 1, of course. So this is issue 1. So I'm going to copy everything about issue 1 right here. So let's copy it right now and see what we have. So let's see. So I'm going to have issue 1. So let's see issue 1, issue 1, issue 1. So we have page 4, page 6, page 7. So we have 7 pages for this. Yes, which is this. So we're going to have this copied. So I want to say I want to create. So this is Gemini, and which is we are using gems. So back to this is Gemini right here, and here we are. So I'm going to have this pasted, which is the main story. Yes, so I'm going to have this pasted, which is the main story, and we're going to use pro, of course, the pro thinking, and we're going to say, okay, let's have the sense. Let's just have the sense. So let's have against the word comic book sense first, and let's see what the analysis will be about. So yes, initiating visual analysis. So let's see what we have so far. Now we are good to go. So from the style sheet we inputted in the gem, now it's going to just extract information from those. Now the issue 1, which is the umbrella, we have the page 1 setup. So the page 1 has panel 1, just panel 1. So page 1 has panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, panel 4. So let's work with page 1 first, which has this scene from what it has gotten. So it has this scene right now. So let's have the scene right away. So I'm going to copy this right now and come to flow to generate the scene right away. So I'm going to generate this scene, and having to generate the scene right now, we're going to see what it looks like if it goes with what we initially had. So that's panel 1, and now I'm going to need a conversation, so the dialogue and caption. So help me add the dialogue and caption for each panel. Okay, that is very okay. So I'll say help me with the dialogue and caption for each panel. Okay, so let's have this sense and let's see what the character set looks like. So here we are, which is good. So let's see what we are having right now. So now it's going to look into the custom gem, and let's see what it's going to extract. It's extracting the panel content so we can have something to work with. So now we have the design strip right here, but let's see how we get to design all this. So here are the dialogue and captions for issue 1, the umbrella. So panel 1 has this caption. Okay, so yes, so we have the main character, which here we need a caption for 1. So yes, this is the caption right now. So caption for panel 1, and this panel 1 right here. So our caption comes in between here. So let's have our caption right now. So we can have this stretched, yes, since it's a caption, so we can have that stretched. Okay, so that could be stretched right there. Let's ungroup this. Of course, we're going to have that ungrouped. So let's see. So this now has been stretched for this. So we can have a frame. So I'm going to bring in an element which will be a rectangular frame. So let's see. Let's have a frame. So it's going to be a rectangular frame so that our character goes in easily. So this is the first frame right now. I'm going to input that right here, just have this somewhere here. So I'm going to take this out, yes, and I'm going to have something like this. So this is good, and having that, let me come to my flow and see what I've generated so far. So here we are, we've generated this so far, and let's see what we have right now. So I'm going to just download this right now. Let me download this as the first image. So here we are, and coming back here, we are going to have it in our design. So I'm going to upload that. I'm going to upload that image right now. So I'm going to come upload this, open, then I'm going to bring it in So there we are. The caption stays there, which is perfect for what we are doing. So come back to elements and come back to your gem right now. So we have that for panel 1. Panel 2 too, we have a caption. So let's see what panel 2 design will be for page 1. So let's see what panel 2 prompt is. So this panel 1 and this panel 2. So this is the scene and this is the prompt. So close, let's see what we have. So they come here and let's paste this to have the prompt. So let's have this right now. Let's have the sent, and there we are. So we have for panel 2, what's the caption for panel 2? We don't have a dialogue in panel 2, it's still a caption. So what's the caption for panel 2? So this is the caption for panel 2. So let's have it copied out right now. It says, on the south side, rain met repairs, it meant patience, it meant endurance. So let's have this. This is the caption. Copy, and right here, let's see what we have. So this, yes, is very good. This is very good. So I'll still have something like this. Let me download this right now. So we have that downloaded. So we have from right or from left to right, which is this will be the next thing to do. So let me have this right now. Let me have something like this comes here. Okay, so let me have my test right now. So this will be our dialog box, but let's have the caption first. So I'm going to have my caption. So I'm going to say Control D. Yes. So this now comes right here as a caption. So I'm going to have my caption right now. So here we have this. So we are going to bring in the upload of what we just created. So I'm going to bring in that upload right away, which is this. And this comes in as the second page. So here we have the second page. So this is the first thing to read, the second thing to read, then the third thing to read. So here we can have the title of the comic book, which is Against the World. So I'll against the whole world. So I'll have that, and I'll have it inputted right now. So let's have it inputted right here. Okay, so it's going to be against the world, Control Z. So yes, here we are. So this will be issue 1, of course. So let's make sure issue 1 is captured. So it's going to be issue 1, issue 1. Perfect. So there we have it, Against the World. And now the next thing we want to do is to get the panel 3 of page 1. So let's get the scene for that. So this is page 1. Yes. So let's see page 1, and we have the third panel. So let's have this right now. So this is page 1 right away. So let's have this. Okay, let's see if this works, by the way, because of the years of divine. If it doesn't work, we're going to take out this 8 years old, but let's have it sent. So let's see if it works right now. So I'm going to have that sent right away. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, we're going to remove the 8 years. So we're going to have another frame right here, but let's see what that will be. So we can have panel 4 and panel 5 layouts. Oh, perfect, it actually worked. So here we are. So we have this right now. So what do we do? So let's see what the interaction will be. But before we go, let's just design for panel 4 as well. So I'm going to design for panel 4 right here. So this panel 4 right here, I'm going to copy. Then I'm going to come right here to design for panel 4. And there we are. So before we go, let's see the first page. And here we have the caption. Is it going to be caption? So the first page, the first panel is a caption, the second panel is a caption, and the third panel is muttering, you don't get to win. Then the fourth one says caption. So let's see what that would be. So here we have this. So we have this and this. So let's see how we get that. So this is the third caption. So let's see what we have. Okay, this place she's holding the umbrella, which feels more realistic. So I think I would go with this. So I'll go with this right now. So let's download this right away. So I'm going to download that. Then I'm going to come to my design to use that. So I'm going to use a frame. Of course, I'm going to use a frame, and here we are. So we're going to use a frame to cover this. So there we are with a frame. So make this smaller so it covers the whole layout. So we're going to have something like this. Perfect. So now we can upload that very part that says this. So I'm going to bring in this, and here we are. So I'm going to bring in that. So here we can bring in this muttering where she was muttering. So we can bring in this. So let's have something like this, and let's bring this forward. So this can be brought forward. So let's say layer, we're going to bring forward so it comes up here. So we can make this smaller. Of course, we can make this smaller. So this could come right here. So I could just make it come in between here and here. So let's see. So let's see what the caption says or what it's saying. So it's going to be, you don't get to win. You don't get to win. Perfect. So I'm going to bring it in right here. So it's going to be you don't get to win, and here it is. So this now confirms what this is going to be. So this now should have a caption that says muttering. So we're going to have muttering, which is supposed to be. So I'm going to make sure this comes this way and this stays this way. So I'm going to copy this, of course. Then I'm going to come right here to say she was muttering, because that's what this says. So I'm going to copy. I'm going to copy. That will be the caption. Okay, that will be the caption right there. So there we are. I'm going to have something like this. So this is perfect in its own way. So I'm going to have something like this. So it says muttering, you don't get to win. Then the new set, let's copy the new character, which the caption says, and sometimes it's meant being watched. So let's see what that literally means. So come back here and say sometimes. Okay, so let's have this instead. So let's have this. So I'm going to copy this right now and come back here to have what we have. So I'm going to upload the new image. Then I'm going to have my frame. I'm going to come to elements to have my frame. So here we are. So I'm going to come right here and we're going to have a frame, or we could actually duplicate this. So let me control D this. So I'm going to control D that, and there we are. So I'm going to bring this up right now. So let me bring this up. I'm going to say layer, and I'm going to say bring forward, so it brings it forward. Okay, Control Z. So this will be brought forward as well. So let me say bring forward. This should be brought to the front. So I'll say bring to the front for this. Control C. Control Z. So this will be bring to the front, of course. Okay. And this will be brought forward. This will be bring forward. Yes, perfect. So we have this, and now this upload should come into this. So we are going to have something like this, and we're going to have a caption, of course, because it is a caption. So we're going to have the caption right now. So I'm going to have something like this, Control D, which will be the caption of this. So yes, there we are. Okay, so there we are, and this Control D, this will come right here, and the caption can comes in. So we have page 1 being designed right now, so we can go to page 2. So this page 1 being designed. So let's have something like this, and sometimes it's meant being watched. So we could actually do this. So we could go to the next page, and you could see your resources right here. So we have different resources right here that describes, you remember the comic strip we talked about, the layout. So these are different bubbles, speech bubbles, but then just leave speech bubbles aside right now. So we can go to the next page right away. We could say duplicate page, and right now we could design the page layout. So we are going to have to take a pause here and continue in the next lesson. So in the next lesson, we're going to continue what we are doing right now. We're going to continue it in the next lesson. I hope to see you in the next lesson. See you there.